All
What's
right,
up,
guys.
everybody?
Yeah, welcome in.
Got some.
Session number 3, week 3, popping
Right,
off.
number 3. We're doing a little bit of charting. We ended up last time going through a couple of charts that I personally thought looked like they had some bullish momentum. Curve being one of them. So look at that. That was nice. Look at the only green fucking thing. So
Yeah, it's kind of a devastating day, huh?
yeah, look like Matic. What's the other one? That's about to pinch here. What was the other one? That was the last one. I was thinking it was looking XMR, I think. Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
That
I
one
think we
broke down.
touched on the XMR there.
But yeah,
Maybe
so these were
Tezos?
the structures. Yeah, no, Tezos was the one that was for the.
Oh,
That
the
one was for.
overall.
That
Oh,
was
okay.
this one. Yeah, that was like the bag holders are expecting. This average price, or something they're interested in. But yeah, still breaking down there. But yeah, Curve was one of the ones I was excited about. Just because it has the structure of above the blue line as with the orange, that we were talking about, the ending. We talked about how RSI plays a part in all of this, and the oversold versus overbought and how it functions. So pretty interesting stuff there. So let's just break down. Go back to ETH. So this is what our drawing from last week. I was looking, pretty similar to what I thought was going to happen. Is kind of like we got a lot of momentum coming up through here. Volume was pretty low. I said I wasn't bullish until this broke out of the above the blue and the orange. So ETH wasn't able to do it. I don't think Bitcoin was able to do it either. Yeah, so they touched a couple times. That this is a really good sign to sell shit. You had a couple of days indicator here. Could have sold on the 29th and the 1st. Those are two touches that didn't look like it was going to have momentum to break through into that bullish pattern for these two. So until I'm bullish, or I'm bearish until I see these white line and orange like above the blue. That was what we kind of talked about and brushed on. And you kind of see, that kind of came to fruition. We're getting that retracement. I still think this window is still a really good window. I think we still have, potential to stay inside these and do pretty well. So, kind of nice to see that, once we started tracking it like week to week, you can kind of see what happens and what I kind of say, if it kind of holds me to a standard of, am I talking out of my ass, or is it something that I'm actually providing some value with? So it looks like this week, at least, we provided some good value. So, all right, let's go on to Keltner Channels, since this is like the third week that I've talked about it and then haven't actually talked about it. So, overall general structures on the whole market is, up and down. Everything goes up and down. But one thing I really like to show is that all of these trades happen inside. Let's go on a little bit of a shorter time frame here. So this is a 4-hour window. This is a Keltner Channels, is the white to white lines. All trading action in existence should happen between these two lines. So how this thing is set up is the farther away you get from the center median white line. Again, think of these as as a bell curve. This is the average price. Inside these two green lines, 68% of all trading action should be happening. And then outside is 2 standard deviations. And then the final is the 3 standard deviations, which 99% of all trading action should happen. Okay. So, on the 4-hour, this actually is looking, pretty good. Like the people, if you're able to buy in these lower positions, I was talking about the whole, last June and July, we saw some of the best possible buys, right? This was coming out of the second standard deviation. So if you're buying at these prices, this is 90% of the time, these prices shouldn't be happening, and you're able to get these good prices, and you were in that window for like a day, maybe, or maybe like a 4 hour period to get these prices. So, this one had it, this one had it. These are all like pretty interesting mechanics on that. So, what I'm looking, or what I think is interesting about Keltner channels, is the farther you kind of see, you go back, you can kind of see very blatantly, obviously, when you should be looking to sell and when you should be looking to buy, right? These whole, if you make a rule of I only sell when we're out of the outer orange lines, you sold here and on the way up. These are from, obviously, from like 2020, so these are like low numbers, but you usually get a chance to rebuy at lower prices after these are hit, right? So you get, 1, 2, 3, it's your 3 sell points, and then you're able to buy, at $300. Here you get your, 1, 2, 3, it breaks out of the orange band. You're selling 3600s, 28, 1700s, 1300s, but you always get like a little bit a chance to rebuy, because how I picture these things is like a trampoline. Every time you jump, you kind of, the trampoline sinks in right before that like bounce happens. So that's kind of what I picture here. You get a lot of these. We can look at the current price action. You can also see how narrow these Keltner channels are. When you see periods of like turmoil and like stress on the whole ecosystem, you see shit like this. Like, we had that huge rise in May. It was really tight. We had all of the 3AC collapse, and look how wide these bands got. Like, the price action, because it was so volatile, expanded how these bands are, and it was more volatile to trade in between these things. So same thing here until you see some narrowing again. You get these periods of like narrow, constricted. I mean, sorry, broad, constricted, broad. Constricted, broad. It's over. It repeats over and over. So right now we're getting that constricted appearance. We've had this broader appearance on this chart for a long time. We're getting really tight knit things. We're getting, like, to me, this looks very bullish. On this, we've set up, now that we've got a retracement here, you can kind of see what I'm talking about with this 4 hour thing, 4 hour time frame. We've got, a huge run up and then break down into these prices, a huge, run up into the 15s, each peak you see kind of showed in these RSIs. We've had a lot more RSI here, but the thing is this is all culminating into this spot here, and I think we'll get that lower down into the 13, 13, high 13s. But from there, looking for entry into positions.
So what is it telling you when it coils up, that it's kind of like
Coiling up means it's
something
either,
is
it's
coming?
not really, it's not up or down. It's more like something is about to happen. Like, how, you when I'm gonna pick, you say you're landing on a trampoline, right? It's like that kinetic energy, or that potential energy kind of builds, then you spring up, right? That's potential energy is switching to kinetic energy, where they
But it could
these
also spring down.
yeah, exactly. Like, it's not upward, it's
Okay.
not, you got to use, it's not, this one isn't indicating um price action. It's more just indicating like, uh you know
Something
the
is coming.
yeah, there's like kind of like momentum building in the charts. Like, it's going to be a large leg up or a large leg down. And really, what it's kind of set up is more for, again, I'm bearish until we get above these lines, until on the daily. All right. So again, looking here, we're at the current average price. There's nothing fancy about this price currently. If you look on the daily here, on the, even on the 4 hour, we're back to the average, what the average price of this commodity is expected to be. So I wouldn't be buying or selling at these positions.
Because it's
Up
in the
here, you're,
middle of those channels.
say again.
Because it's in the middle of those channels, even though that it's coiling up, you kind of you're looking for, you know, that
Uh, I'm
that
looking for,
bigger
like, what
move
I
up
gained
to
or
the.
gleaned from this is I'm looking for this to either go down into these ranges here, like the lower, in between these two probably would be a good entry. Like if you look into, let's see,
A
draw a little like
potential like
square.
partial entry there, and then see what happens. And
Yeah, like scale into one, 1, 2, 3, and then these three positions, catch some, put something at 1345, something at 1381, something at like 14,
not financial
45.
advice, of course.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like you're looking into scale into this position over a couple of purchases as we are continually going downwards, as we're continuation of our downwards trend here. Right. So we had that breakdown. We were, on the daily, we resisted this pretty heavily. We hit this upper, we hit that orange once, two, three times. They're pinned up there. That was each time it hits this is it gets weaker, but no momentum to break through. No momentum to break through. No momentum to break through. Now we're gonna return down
Just
to like
just
these
pounding on
RSIs.
that doorstep.
Yeah, just continually pounding on there, nothing of value, no change. And again, like I've already mentioned
No
this last
volume.
time. It's the low volume here. We see it. There's nothing to, if we go back, these are times of high volume was November. We saw some in May of 21. These are things I would consider like the peaks of stuff. The bottom, see like 2020 bottom probably had some good volume. Like here, this has had good volume, right? So anytime that you see volume, and then our current volume is, pretty low comparatively to these large spikes, I would say. We did get a little bit in the early January, but that's kind of like what brought us up to where we are. But yeah, it didn't have any spikes. It didn't have any continuation. It's not, and again, the volume's trending downwards this entire time while the price is kind of creeping up. So not a good look. So, what we're looking for with this is, we have that average price. These are the standard deviations I was talking about. So if you get prices, again, we'll go back to the 4 hour, so it's a little bit more, makes more tight and concise. You can kind of see, we've been trending along these things. These were your exit points above the orange. We want to see entry point. We haven't really been getting a lot of the lower entry points. I would say the lowest I've seen in a while is this like lower green area. That was a pretty big sell off right there. So that was November. Most of the time we've been trending in that little early line.
Yeah, I
So
bought
like,
I bought a little bit around December, I think, like right
yeah.
before Christmas.
So again, like the last couple months of buying but like my whole thing is if you set it up on a swing setup, right? Like if you're always trying to look for a trade, it's not going to happen, right? You're constantly like, oh, pushing myself into a trade that I don't really know, or you have to wait for these trades to come to you. You're like, this trade came to me because it was below the threshold that we had lower RSI was my checkpoint. We are 80% off, another checkpoint. We have another checkpoint of this is showing up on the Keltner channel as being, 90% of the time this price should not be happening on the 4 hour chart. Okay, so these are, all things that are like, this is a buy. These are again trending upward, buy. Now we're getting back up into here. It's something where you're like, okay, well, now we've bought at this lower green band. Now we can sell at the upper green band because guess what? 68% of the time, this price is, this is falling in a window where it should only be 13% of the time this price should be happening because it's outside of the 68%, window. Like if you look at this as like a bell curve, 68% of all trading volume should happen here. When you go out in these upper, outer tiers, this little window is,
Those are the outliers.
12%. Those are the outliers. Like you want to be selling at positions where there not many people are looking to be purchasing, or because you want to build sell in this momentum because people are these are prices that are too high for the current average price. And again, like you see it green to green, orange to orange, green to green. You get usually if it's just like a trampoline. You jump up, you displace it. You're gonna, this goes green to green again, an orange, upper orange. Now we could probably see an orange, possible orange, in the play on the Keltner channel alone. Like this is in play because we hit upper oranges. We can see like lower oranges happening. Depends on how the structure here happens. But again, with a bunch of factors into this one, we looked at the price of the fixed price ratio that we
Fixed
talked
price.
about the
Yep.
first, we talked about the first time, 1200, and let's go back to the
Kind of
daily and
creeping
do,
up on that average price again.
yeah, the average price from the beginning of the 2020 bull run, which I consider about here. Um, let's see what the average. Sorry. Why is it not picking up here?
Should show a dot somewhere, yeah.
There we go. Come on. We kind of had like this breakout. Average price is around 1200-ish again, still. So from, the start of like 2021. So, the last couple
Yep.
of years of action, this is still the price point that is most traded. This is, a magnet in terms of like, if we're going downward pressure, if this 1300 breaks, we're definitely going back to here, like no question, right? So again, until I see these white above the blue and the orange, I still think we're in that, negative bearish sentiment. Um, and then like as we're going forward, you can pick up, a couple indicators that you personally find valuable, right? Like, so these are the ones I use. Each one I kind of glean a little bit of information from, but again, everyone can have their own set of tools, and again, that's why paper trading is so important, and like actually being intimate with these structures is important because the more things you see these repetitive patterns, like when I'm seeing these get hit, this is something to look for, that we're going to trend downwards because we got momentum, volumes down, we're already above prices. These should only be happening, on the 4-hour chart. These prices are pretty much, this is like the 1 to 2% range. They should that above this, right? Because if you actually look at like a bell curve, get out of here. Just image of a bell curve. This is what you're looking for. 30, 68%. These are the last little legs here is 26%. That orange line is 2.1%. The price action of hitting out here is roughly 2.1% of the time. It should be between this orange and this white line on both sides. So, that's a great price to be selling at. And you get a couple of times you get a couple chances, right? You get that, and a 1571, you get the 1666. These are prices that you get a chance to now rebuy at 1400s, or you get possibly as low as 1300, 1380s. We'll see what happens, but I mean, realistically, I think we're definitely going to be seeing these. We might see like how this is drawn out. We get to see a little bit of moving for a couple days, maybe a little return to the hair, but yeah, I still think overall we're going down here. It depends on what happens with the data. We get some
We've
data
got
for
some
CPI.
macro stuff, right? Yep, in the next couple
Hmm.
days here.
I believe tomorrow, right? So we'll see
CPI,
what.
and then there's also like job reports too.
Yeah, so we'll see what actually comes to fruition on those. But again, yeah, and again, and on just not macro crypto side, U.S. is shutting down pretty much a ton of access to like any sort of stable coin or something.
Staking stuff.
They're going after stable coins right now. So Paxos got hit. They're possibly going after Circle. Kraken got hit with a staking settlement. People are dropping left and right from these large crypto people because, again, the U.S. has very little framework, and the SEC is trying to either scare. I mean, it looks like a coordinated attack to kind of like either scare people away from this sector, is what it looks like to me. Um, this also comes on the news that Russia is most likely uh, buying a very large hash farm to kind of solidify its like a state operated Bitcoin mining. So we're coming into a time of pretty severe turmoil in terms of just crypto in general. Like the one side is extremely bearish on it. Even though Russia is they do what they do, I don't care from an objective standpoint. A nation trying to mine Bitcoin is already huge. Like we already saw it with El Salvador.
Yeah.
I think they've done. I personally think El Salvador will come out of this in a couple years immaculately. They've already been able to, I think, accrue it was 400 million in revenue from their like volcano bonds and stuff like that, which I think is going to be huge for their green mining operation with the thermo wells. So a lot of just like financial news slash events that have been kind of brewing to kind of lead to this turmoil. And again, like even though we were getting all this news now, you kind of see how people are like, oh, they blame the news, right? Like that was just because the U.S. We were perfectly fine until the U.S. said this, or perfectly fine until blah blah blah. Like, no, we weren't perfectly fine. Like look at the structures here. You're on Bitcoin. We went out of this range. Like this shouldn't happen. These prices are above. I mean, you only got a couple hours of it, but like this price is out of trading action. Like this is a 100% sell right now. Like I didn't even look at this Bitcoin chart for this because I don't do a lot of Bitcoin trading. I do mostly Ethereum, but like, you had a ton of options here. Like you went from 1600, 2100, went out of the thing, huge sell point, huge sell point, huge sell point. Three, you got three really good sell points right there.
Banging on the door, but
Exactly. Like, and now we'll probably go back to the 20s, on Bitcoin. We'll see, probably something like that. We'll get a little bit of a, possibly see like a little bit of a rise here, and then we'll see this, and we'll probably go down to these here over the next couple weeks. So, again, until we see those, these got a pretty strong rejection off here. The average price purchase is 1920. So again, this is kind of like a big magnet until proven otherwise. Yeah. So again, and then once we see why I like some of these other plays that I was kind of setting up was because these are already in bullish structure, right? So let's look at Matic. We talked about Matic being in a bullish structure because the white is above here. Probably see some support here. Let's see what happens. But if I was a 98 cents would be a good entry point. But it didn't. If you look at the price from Ethereum to this, we see a breakout here starts on the 31st of December. We start getting just a lot of increased movement. Let's look at Matic.
yeah, when do they start?
Pretty much the same day, 30th, 31st. But you can see the retracement on these is literally nothing. Whereas Ethereum, our retracement, let's see what the price we have here. Let's look at price range. So we had a 24% move from here and, retrace down. So we got this one went up 44. We got a 20% retracement from the top. 12, 13, 13% retracement from the top. If you're looking at Matic, you had a 80% move.
Whew.
Currently 55% move from the bottom, and you're only 12% off the top. But look how much capital you captured because this is still in a bearish structure, right? And then look at the other. Last week I just scanned all the ones that I had looked at. Okay, this one still bad, right? The blue is really far away. This one doesn't have enough data. Terrible. This is once you actually get to know these things, you can see not this one actually looks better than some of the other ones because this actually had some movement up into the actual white and blue. Look at these haven't even come close to reaching these things yet. So again, this might be something to look at here because we got some link. It already touched the blue. Now we're getting some consolidation. We could see movement up here. Curve still ripping. I literally said curve is probably going to rip. because it's that structure is above the blue. And you can see like from there, if we were trading, we call these on similar times. It already, like, this is the link setup has already happened here. This was the link that I was looking at right now, like right here. So you look at the link, we already hit this blue here. We had some consolidation. This is what
Yep.
curve already did. It hit the blue and already had some consolidation. Whereas these other things that we're looking at haven't even reached the upper blue line, so they don't have any momentum kind of gaining yet.
Yep.
So now
And the just to
yeah, go ahead.
say a quick word, when we're talking about the blue and these orange and yellow lines, at least on the bottom of the screen, guys, we had a whole kind of video on that last week where we went over the RSI caverns. It's just
Yeah,
basically the relative strength of the momentum of the market, whether it's overbought, oversold, and
exactly.
kind of like when they pinch and when they go up and down, like that's where you can see, the momentum and the movement that is potentially about to happen.
Yeah. So, and like again, like I keep saying the same similar thing is until these white and blue and orange lines, it's all relative strength index, but until they actually show some support on these blue and orange lines, that's when I'm looking to go long, right? Because we need a confirmation that we're actually in bullish territory. Because if we have something, like look at the XMR. See, this is the one that didn't work, right? So I said this one is possible to check out. Broke out. Now it's already broke back down and already tested resistance and failed
Yeah.
with low volume. So like this is probably going back down to the 130s. So it's not like, oh, this is guaranteed, but like you can see, if I was a betting man, Curve, XMR, what was the other one that I talked about? Matic. Those were all structures that were bullish. If you did three placements of moves, Curve hit big, the other two did not, but you already had structure. If you had your risk management in place, you would have cut already on positions, or they broke down, they failed your tests. So again, you could preserve capital on two failed trades, and then your curve trade can still be running because you caught good prices. I was saying to do. I think it was literally last week. What was the price? I think it was around here, right? What was the 13th today? It was the 6th.
Yeah, just a week
You know,
ago. And it's
so
not like, um, you know, telling people to buy at these prices or anything. This
yeah,
is all just like, I would
just
say
showing.
you want to make
Yeah,
sure
just
be patient and
good.
have a retest, right?
Exactly. Like you just
Rather
want
than
to
jump in when that white line
wildly.
initially
Yeah,
crosses. You want to see it go up and then you want to see it come back down and retest those old data points
exactly.
for
for
support
a for
and then
a
go.
for a higher win, or less risk with a possible reward, right? You're just trying to.
Correct.
All trading is trying to get the best return on your risk. So if you're making, if I saw a couple people lose a bunch of money recently because they were bullish on Matic. They caught this whole run, but they're like, oh no, it's still, we're going back to, they're like, we're going back to 150 or whatever. And I'm like, no, I would sell at like, previous ones. I'd be selling at like 104. I'd be selling at 116. I'd be selling at 128. And guess what? You get these positions. You get to sell three, 1, 2, 3 all the way up through here, like through these positions. And now, they didn't do well because they held these positions open and lost them. So you got to make sure that you actually, first of all, are consistently making rules that you can follow without being emotional about it. That's the biggest key to trading. Repetitive, no emotions. So, when you start seeing structures like these, we're getting some of that momentum. I want to see, we could probably, if I was,
Consistently decrease your risk and increase the chance of profit.
yeah, like a great thing recently for me was I bought some checks on the way up. Those revealed last night. I had three rare ones that right off the bat listed those instantly. sold 2 of them. Now most of my money's recouped because I end up getting some, some decently rare ones. I got like an all colored one or whatever. You get to, anytime that there's a lot of volume and stuff coming in, even though the price is down, you want to be taking, cutting ties if you think it's going to go lower because you want to preserve capital, right? Like, my bet was it was going to continue to go up, but the risk is high because it is now kind of
What'd you
plummeting.
sell
And
those checks at?
I bought them at 0.9. I sold one for 2.11, and I sold another one for 1.8.
What's the current floor price? Like
I think it's like 0.7 or
1.5? Oh, it's under 1 right now?
for the revealed ones, I believe it's under 1. The ones that are still unrevealed are like 1.15
Oh,
or something
so
like
they're
that.
doing like the reveal kind of like Ranga black box style.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you mint the original one was just kind of like a picture of the checks that you could change the metadata. The minted one, like the ones you burn to get the new ones, are like fully on chain, and like a generative piece of art. So every one single one is different, blah blah blah. But
Gotcha.
I think what
Those
I'm saying, like
original checks were like IPFS.
yeah, exactly. That's so he was able to change the metadata whenever. But back to this stuff is like my risk management was, these are my entry points. Definitely solidifying on the move up, right? So like I sold some on the way up. I kept some to trade. I had 7 left. The revealed happened. Instantly I'm looking for, the ones that are somewhat valuable. I'm gonna try to sell, right? So like I said, I got 2 lists. I have one I dropped the price of because I one that's in like in the some couple sold for like in the 4 range last night. It's down to about 3.5, so I have it listed around there, like 3.5 for that one.
What
So
up,
that's like
Ken?
a
Saw you pop in here.
what's up, buddy? So it's definitely something where you want to be able to manage these things and don't get emotionally attached to them because that's what happens. I've seen so many people get, especially with NFTs, they get emotionally attached to it, and it's very hard to kind of break away. We've seen that with doodles. Like I sold 2 doodles at like the 8 range on this news. I'm a huge doodle person, but I saw that that was a bad fucking move, and the markets reacted. Now they're trading at like mid 4s to 5s.
4. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Does
so
people?
it's just like, yeah, my bags are like, I don't want to. I'm not. I'm just trying to be objective when I'm trying to give information to. Like I obviously I love the doodles, but I've been saying that was a bad move, right? So again, the market's reacted that way. Now I can buy 2 doodles if I wanted to, even though if I like them, right? So like it's just about that preserving of your capital, especially in these bear markets, or you want to be 100% preserving as much capital as possible. You can make your calculated risks and your plays, but you 100% want to have a already established exit point, right? So like if you're buying, even like say you bought a doodle now and it's at like 5, whatever, you think it's going to go up. I would have a plan to be exiting at like 4.2 or something like that, because that's how, it's a stretch off, but I'd rather lose some of that capital than, lose them all. Like you can see how stuff like, let's do like Goblin Town. Like those went to 9, now they're back down to 0.1. Oni went to 7 and back to 1. We see all of these ones, get huge attention, lose it all really quickly. So it's a little bit, it doesn't happen as bad on coins, but yeah, it's definitely something where you got to be mindful of, right? So, um, who will join Kennedy? What's up, buddy? But yeah, we were just talking.
Oh, what's up?
We were just talking some risk management. We were talking some of these Keltner channels that had been talking about previously. We were, I don't know if you heard last week, but we were talking about the structures of just overall markets, and until proven otherwise, we are still bearish until otherwise proven that it's not bearish anymore. Um, so we're still in those same similar paths as last time. So anyone have any questions? We kind of covered just basic on what the Keltner channels are, how the bell curve actually works with that type of skill or with that indicator.
It's like a
Brushed up on,
trampoline.
yeah, it's like a trampoline. You get periods of uh widening versus periods of like tightening. This is this whole move with this down was kind of stated here because we don't know if it's going to move upwards or downwards because this is tightening. It will do something because it's tight here. Using other indicators, so this one combined with this one, I get a lot of information, right? This is really tight. Something is going to happen. We're still bearish because we're still hitting this over and over and over, and it's not breaking through. Bam, then you get a big fall. So you get like a couple of days. You had, you know, 1, 2, 3, pretty much 4 warnings that this is going to kind of like break down out of the 3000s because you get all these touches here. Um, so like this time, what was this, April? I sold a doodle in around here. I lent all my doodles and bought USDC around here. So like these things they kind of show up quite often. Again, this is, and how I talked about the previous talk. This was that I thought the May was the actual Pico top from 2021. This was all kind of like fake FTX leverage movements with no volume. We had this giant sell off, blow off top that happened, and then we have like super shit volume to get all the way back up to new all time highs. So again, super sketch. But
Hey,
again, you
if you
had
listen to your
exits.
rules, you're doing good.
Exactly, like, oh, this price is out of out 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4 chances to sell up at the top. Um, and you had within a month you had chances. Look at this too. Like you had that orange, you almost hit the orange again on the daily here. You go up and hit the green here. You get a chance to buy at the green down here. You get the green, you get to buy the green. So it just the simple rules and time function of this setup is all set up for that swing trade mentality, and you can definitely get really good entry and exits by just using these set of rules to kind of delineate
And
the your trading strategy.
you have like sort of like kind of like I don't know if you'd call it like a Patreon, but like um people that kind of like follow you and get the information on like what these, because you have to like all manually input this information, correct?
What do you mean, like indicators
Like
you're
the
talking about?
level, yeah, the levels of the indicators and all that information, like the RSI caverns, the
Yeah.
Keltner
So
channels.
the RSI ones and the Keltner channels are my two main ones that I use. And they're like, yeah, it's pretty much like my Substack.
Trying to
I
get you a
use
little
it.
promo here, bruh.
That's right. The
Substack.
Substack is I think it's like 10. I think it's either 12 or $10. I think it's $12 a month. You get access to these indicators for as long as with TradingView. They're set up for the free TradingView also. So like the TradingView in here is I personally have the paid one. That's how you get the um, custom time windows, and but the time frames, yeah, get custom time frames. But realistically, you can set this all up on a free trading view because I set these specifically up to only have two indicators that you really you need or want. And again, it's I personally, if you want to use them, you can. Like I said, it's the Substack, $10 or whatever. You get to access to them, and
You
like I'm
gotta send
pretty
me that
lenient.
link. I'll put it up in the all the posts and the comments and stuff.
Cool, yeah. But yeah, like again, it's really more it's about finding the trading style that works best for you, and that is done through repetition of all these things. We talked about the paper trading. I talk about it all the time because guess what, that's literally how I learned everything. The person I learned it from, the guy who was kind of like my mentor, literally would not let me trade anything but paper trading for 6 months. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. I don't want to do this anymore. But guess what? Now I feel a lot more confident because I have a consistent set of rules that I used for 6 months to find my positions of entries and exits, because that was a method of getting you to not be emotional and have a specific set of rules that you're ingrained into you very deeply, instead of just being like wishy-washy as hell, right? Like, I've seen so many people like, oh yeah, we're going to the fucking moon this whole week on Twitter. It's just, you always see it every time. Everyone's like, oh yeah, we're, this the bear market's over, we're fucking murdering it. And it's the people are tweeting at these literally, if you do the exact time frames on these, is literally these spots, right? Like
24 hours later, couple days
yeah.
later, it's totally reversed when we get 5% decrease.
Yeah, you get a 5%. Everyone's like, "Fucking world's ending." Like if you actually follow like Kramer, Jim Kramer, or whatever, he literally, it's every other week. It's
Well, we are shooting down
100%
UFOs.
option. Just inverse trade Kramer. He even called the Super Bowl last night by saying the Eagles are going to win. So, um, very, anyone got any questions? Any shit coins you want me to chart? That's how I usually end this up on, is someone's asking me about some shit coin they want to see.
I just got a general question of what you think about what's going to happen to the Blair airdrop.
Yeah. So I'm a big airdrop player, for sure. So, did really, really well with Uniswap airdrop. I did really well with SOS. I did really well with Looks Rare airdrop. I do think that the first 48 hours is usually, first of all, it's insanely volatile, but again, it's generally usually pretty good. Like the earlier you're able to get some, I wouldn't be like the first purchaser, obviously, because those are, if you look at every shitty, let's see,
Yeah, it looks
look at
rare.
like, yeah, that's a good good one to look at. I'll look at Uniswap too, but like the first trade, the first day of trading is, it just, oh, this isn't even, let's see if I can find a Uniswap one.
Getting down in the weeds out there.
I can't remember which one that. Let's see, all sources. Can you find Uniswap? Yeah, this one should be good. So we can kind of see. Yeah. Okay. So first day of trading is literally insane. Let's look in like a
Well, the
slower.
VC's got to get their money, bro.
But just like the first couple purchases, like I bought a bunch in the beginning because, you know you get the first like hour of trading is usually like, don't do it. But usually you get, yeah. See, like this is the first candle of trading. It went to just in, literally the price increase on this sucker on one candle is 266%. And the first 2 hours of trading, you had a 260% trade swing, like it's crazy, awful, risky as shit. Right. So, I'm usually more like just very adamantly watching it. If you get like you're going to get an insane candle. If somebody is buying a shit ton, candle two is candle two, candle three is where I'm looking to be interested in it, just because it's probably more like real of what, it's been traded for 6 hours. We actually see what people are looking at. You still got a ton of volume here, but the play is generally 48 hours later. You get a lot of people selling off really quick because they're like, oh, free money. The people who with bags are buying all of it because they want action to go up. And then you start seeing that whole like, oh shit, like I sold here, fuck it, like this is gonna go to the moon. And
Those are
then you
just
see that.
fractions of pennies too.
Well, this is compared against to ETH,
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
this wasn't priced in USD because you couldn't. It's Uniswap is paired. Like the most
Oh,
action
that's
trade
right,
is
that's right. Yeah.
ETH to what you call. So I mean, this is still like a couple. This is traded at like $1 or something, right? Or a couple bucks. Um, but you definitely get that usually a pretty good chance within the first if within the first 12 hours, you should get like a good retracement of price from like the first initial sell off of all the people who are looking to get free money instantly. And then looking to sell that within 48 hours is usually like a pretty good move. Let's see. Let's see if we can get some like Uniswap tokens
But what do you
on
think?
Uniswap.
Because Looks Rare didn't really like. I don't feel like they did like advertising or like as much um like farming, so to say, as Blur did, right? For their
Yeah.
users and to like advise their users like, oh, you got to do these bids and you got to put money into our platform first, right? So it I don't know. A lot of people are feeling pretty bullish on the Blur airdrop, especially. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Blur.
Well, I'm saying that as well. Like I'm saying similar things. Like I think it's going to be bullish for a couple days. I mean, all of these, every single token that's been released from a platform is trended towards zero. Like literally every single one of them. Like XUY2, looks, any token that's been created without a purpose. Like, I mean, what's the purpose of Blur token?
Could they make a purpose for it though that we don't know of until they release it?
I
Like
mean,
they
if
can't
unless there's an
stake it, I guess,
insane,
anymore.
I mean, yeah, like to be honest, the looks token was incredible. Like you got ETH rewards. I got like 6 free ETH out of looks from staking the looks for like a couple months until
Yeah, they
like
had like a 3,000% return on it.
yeah, I mean it was incredible. Like, and you weren't getting paid in looks token, you're getting paid in ETH. Like you were getting paid in half and half. So, but yeah, like if you were just
And you could
collecting your
compound it
looks and selling it.
like automatically compound it too. Like you didn't have to
Well,
even
they
put a
later added that
transaction.
feature to auto compound, but you only got paid in looks. So I never switched to that. I only kept it in
Oh,
uh
okay.
because the only thing the value there was getting the ETH on the volume, right? So you were getting, I got in the first couple months, I think I bought like 8 ETH worth of. I sold
Damn.
a woman for 8.9, bought 8 ETH worth of looks at like a couple bucks, maybe like $2 or $3, between $2 and $3. Um, and staked that instantly for a while. I mean, I think I had it. I mean, I sold it. The look, I think I got up to about like 18, 20, or no, wait, 26,000 looks from like collection and stuff like that. Um, but even with like the price being in the shitter with looks, I think I made like a 6 ETH profit off of the staking. Uh, and that's with like the price going from like my $2 or $3 to the 27 cents per, like the value
On a
from
downtrend, you still net
yeah, just
positive.
because the staking rewards were just so great. Like they're still incredible, to be honest. Like it's, even though there's not even that much volume and it's all like wash trading, especially for the price of the token, yeah, you can still, I personally think it's still pretty valuable. There's been a couple of those looks and Ben Dow token. They're down absolutely tremendously from the all-time highs. And now they're becoming, worthwhile to use them for their intended purpose, because their value is so low. If they go up, 30-40% on a swing, your APR is like exploded, right? Like you get extremely high catch rate on. And that's the other thing too, just like understanding the basic economics of these things and tokenomics behind all these platforms is really interesting too. Like, so we'll see what Blur comes up with, but if they don't have like an insane tokenomics mechanism, I don't think it's not gonna play well within a month. But yeah, the first couple days of trading is gonna be huge potential for just volatility. But yeah, my
And it's going to
play
be one of
is
those new
going.
coins listed, and
Yeah,
everybody's going to
they
see
got
it,
some
and
big
everybody's
listings
going to
too.
see
I
all
think
the
they
volume
got.
on it.
I'm pretty sure they got like KuCoin and Bybit and like pretty big names going to be able to trade the Blur token. So uh,
Coinbase,
could be, yeah, Coin. Oh yeah, Coinbase was the other one. Yeah,
like
so
they have
um,
a lot of exchanges out there. I don't know if they have Binance or not.
yeah, I don't know about Binance, but I mean, either way, like there's some big names to be able to trade these tokens on right away. So potential there is pretty massive. And let me look. So this was that Uniswap play I was talking about. I bought the reset. Can't remember exactly how much I bought, but I remember. So I had 8 eligible wallets for Uniswap airdrop. So this was the day of release. You know, you got this massive high spike up. You know, you saw that. You know, if you're buying here, this first candle is literally fucking insane. Second candle. These are 2-hour trades. So like the 2-hour to 3-hour, so 6 hours. So 4 to 6 hours later, you get like an actual. This is probably what the actual value of these things is: $2, right? So we saw that happen pretty quickly within the first couple hours, and then you see everyone. I remember everyone being like, "Bro, it's a free PS5." Literally everyone was saying that. So they were selling for their free PS5s. And I was buying like a fucking madman. I bought like 3,000, like 3,000 or 2,800 of these things. And it got up to about $8. I cashed out like 2,200 or $22,000 from this play. But you can see, like, again, bam, huge within 48 hours. This sucker is absolutely ripped. And then from there, it's just kind of like, that you had a couple of months then go in and actually play it. You know what I mean? Like the first rip is, I'm selling within 48 hours, pretty much irregardless if it's up or regardless if it's up or down. And then going from there, you're looking at, is this actually a valuable token? We don't have any. To be honest, I still don't think Uniswap's a valuable token because they don't produce. It doesn't produce anything. Like eventually, their whole proposal is to turn on a fee switch so that the holders of Uniswap actually get a percentage of the fees. If that happens, it's kind of like how Looks was fucking very like, I like those use cases. Like there's a purpose for holding this token.
Yeah,
And
I
my
got I
what
got I
I'm
gotta see the use case for Blur here.
what I'm guessing is it's going to have a very shitty use case. Just because it's Paradigm, it's a big ass VC, it's all gimmicks all the way up. It's been gimmicks since day one
Yeah,
of
wasn't this
get
supposed
your
to be like
boxes
released
and blah blah
last month?
blah. It was supposed to release last month. They added a new feature at the very end, or they found a new feature that to get around the whole OpenSea forcing you to use a specific contract. So they found a way to kind of route um, because Blur doesn't enforce royalties on their platform. They found a way to enforce royalties on specific collections that require them. So if you have a collection that requires you to have has a
Royalties
requires you to
on.
have the royalties enforced, and that was kind of like a way to blacklist every other exchange. So people were, we saw checks proceed with caution. Most of these OE meta has been forced onto Looks Rare because the artists are trying to enforce royalties. Most of the time it's been OpenSea lately. So that's what they're adding. They're adding an ability to enforce royalties on collections that then route them through the OpenSea's contract. So that's what the delay was. Could be. I think again, it's a cool concept. I hate OpenSea. Uh, they're highly. First of all, they're highly centralized. They choose what they can be traded. They can freeze whatever. I think that's pretty ridiculous. And then the side of the high collection fees, 2.5% is very high. I think for providing pretty much a literally zero service. You're just like, there's so many other things that you can do for zero, like X2Y2, Looks Rare. Like, I don't understand how OpenSea survived, to be honest, because they have like really shitty functionality, and they charge like minimum of five times higher fees than pretty much every other platform. So, but whatever. But yeah, like I have been using Blur. I think it's a good platform. I actually been using Magically a lot. I don't know if anyone's seen this one yet. Magically.gg, but they have a very nice let's see.
What's this, a new marketplace?
Yeah, it's a new marketplace. Let's see here. You guys, is you see my screen on this one?
Yeah, yeah, we're seeing it here.
All right, cool. So, yeah, let me just look at like, yeah. So I got checks followed here. Let's see. Um,
Kind of looks like alpha sharks.
so it is Alpha Sharks. Alpha Sharks created their own platform. Uh, so
Wait, so this is
anyone can
alpha
use.
sharks?
This is a version of Alpha Sharks. So the Llamaverse and Alpha Sharks combined together to make this platform.
Okay, that's what it
So
is.
they are using their. This is all free. So I don't have. I'm not. This is not a paid thing. And you can see. Let's just look
Yeah,
at like.
OpenSea is not like a paid marketplace.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying is like a lot of these like Alpha Sharks has been paid to use, right? So for a long time, like if you had Alpha Sharks, which was cost you like 0.5 ETH, you could use this pretty much system. And now they're making it to where anyone can use it, but they have a pro version if you want. If you own an Alpha Sharks, you can get the pro version of this. But like I haven't seen any reason to get the pro version. It's been very good so far. But like you can see the holders, the listings, the threshold of like buy versus new listing retention. The closer this, now we see like a ton of listings coming in. So this is negative. So you can see how many are total there. But let's see, there's another.
So is it just gonna be like the name of the game to just keep making new marketplaces for people, or like
I
when
mean,
does this stop,
until a
when we get
marketplace, yeah,
a certified legit one that's the top, you know?
yeah, exactly. Until someone makes a fucking one stop shop, like I still have to use like 5 different marketplaces to sell certain things. Like I bought a bunch of those proceed with cautions. Um, it was restricted on only to OpenSea because the guy enforced royalties, so he had to use OpenSea. And then he released that, and then you could use it on anything. But Blur doesn't sell 1155, so you couldn't use Blur. So then I could use Looks Rare or X2Y2 or Gem or something like that to list stuff through. It's just like until a actual platform has, you can buy 1155s, you can, sweep 1155s, you're able to sweep and buy 721s. You have some sort of nice charting. Like I love how these have like actual trading view charts on these things. I think it's like super. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. It's like I was using Parsec for like the longest time, and
Yeah, Parsec's good, but it's like very complicated. I feel like it's a little bit
it's a
more like
hard
not well.
setup, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good user friendly one. Um, let's look
But
at
that's all
like
that there was, like months back.
yeah, for sure. So like you can it just you can it just able to kind of see some of these charts a little bit. It's still kind of shitty just because I personally don't think NFTs
It's
bode really
worth the
well
volume, yeah.
for trading. Yeah, exactly. Trading, you see all these ridiculously dumb candles because people buy up here and then it
You
instantly
kind
go
of
back
almost have to
to
do like
floor.
a daily or weekly view of it, right?
Yeah, or you can just do like a line. Yeah, it doesn't work either. Area, no, it doesn't work. So yeah, I think this one just kind of sucks to be honest. Let me find one that's like a good one. Let's do like just look at Bored Ape.
Sewer pass or something.
Yeah, let's
Maybe
do. I
like
just want to see one with
recently.
like a long.
Oh, a long history, yeah.
Yeah, so well, that's nice. No data. There it goes. Yeah, so let's do like a 4 hour chart or something. I mean, still a little. I mean, these are the high sales still fuck up, but you see, this is from July. You get to see it's been pretty
You can
solid.
see the average line throughout there,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can kind of glean some more information than I think you can get a little bit more information on the stuff. And it's just, you get to see they have both views where you can see
Oh,
them
that's cool.
span 60 day or max. Let's see.
How is this
You
the
get
first time that I'm hearing about this? Is this like really new?
I mean, it's been a couple weeks.
Only a
I've
couple
talked
weeks.
about it on
Okay,
the
that's
spaces. I've been talked on the NFA spaces a couple times. I thought. But yeah, they're doing literally the same thing. They're doing like you have like airdrop, you get like boxes, the same fucking shit.
oh my God,
Um,
that is crazy. I
so
better
you
start
know,
trading on there. Start farming.
that's right. Um, I haven't been doing much. Have been just kind of using it as like a find the
Tool.
data
Yeah.
and get it gives you good data on stuff. And then I like the listings data is really good, and the sweep data is good.
There was a
Again,
tool on Alpha Sharks that you could like look up like the trade history of a wallet or your wallet, right? And you could see like
that's part of the pro feature, like I'm pretty sure. Like so you have that again, you have like the ability to still own Alpha Sharks and get like more information out of these. But yeah, on the whole, you this is kind of cool. You get to see who holds. So out of all the Bored Ape holders, you see what they all hold.
yeah, that is really dope.
You can see how many they hold by size or whatever. This person
It's kind of like the
holds two,
what is it? Like the blue chip
holds three.
probability type percentage thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like you get to see what actually bag holding Goblin Towns and Cyberkongs and everything. But I don't know. It's just it's a nice again like until someone makes a all in one stop shop. To be honest, this is probably the closest I've seen so far. Like just you're able to buy and trade and everything. I think they even do 1155s on here. So let me see proceed. Um, yeah. I think they actually do.
Oh, you can look up ninja alerts on here too.
Yeah,
Be a
but
little rougher.
but I think you're actually able to trade and buy these 1155s too, which is why I wouldn't, you weren't able to do it with um,
Blur.
Blur and they could, because they don't support 1155s at all. So it's a big mess out there until one of these creates an aggregator that allows you to do all these things. I think you're just not going to see anything, and it's going to be all disjointed until then. That's my thought. But yeah, any questions? Anyone want to see a shitcoin charted or something like that before we head out? Pretty much been an hour or so.
Yeah, any
Let's keep it.
questions out there, guys in the audience? I don't know if what's his name? The Truth.
Oh, Truth's in here. What do you want, man?
Uh-oh.
Want me chart
Yeah, no,
holy for you, bud?
huh?
You want me chart holy for you?
Yeah, God, please, yes. Um, example of not knowing what you're doing. Um, yeah, no, this is all really cool. I never really got into the charts and stuff, but makes it easy to understand, which is awesome. Now I'm just more interested in getting into paper trading and doing
Yeah,
like
man.
automating it and almost setting it up to a point where you don't have to make those emotional decisions of like,
Yeah,
okay,
100%.
here's the thresholds I'm willing to accept, risk,
Exactly.
reward, automating it to just kind of see those thresholds, sell and buy for me, so I don't have to necessarily
Yeah,
kind of
and
keep
like
everything.
when you're, let me just show you like on the paper trading. I don't think you might. I did it on the first episode, but you can literally just be like, I think we might hit this price point of trade. I'm going to buy 10 ETH at this limit point. So if the price goes down and hits here, you're already buying 10 because you think this is a good point to entry. And if you
Right.
don't hit that position, I want to buy 10 there. I want to buy 100 down here. Because this is not, if this happens, it's going to be happening for,
Sure.
that fucking, you get your 2 hour window that you got down here, right?
Yeah.
Like you could have had buys set up at, these points already because these are already printed. You would see up to like here. You could have buys set up at 1100 and on the way down you could again like when this happens you could I'm gonna buy some at the low. You might have missed this one because you would have said it here, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like you could preemptively kind of set up your structures and then you can have them like, yo, I'm gonna sell here when it reaches up here. Like, and it just, that's the limit it's going to happen. And, I wouldn't do 100 there. I would sell like, I always say it's like doing like 10, the sets of threes, right? So, you had 3 purchases by, let's do
Yo,
another
what's up,
10.
Mig?
So we have, between this point and this point, I'm going to buy here. My moon bag is here. If we hit this spot, we're buying 120 ETH. And
Yep.
then going from there, you already have your exits at, I would 1/3 of it, you're selling at that spot when you're break even again. That's a good, right there, you're looking at a good, 8% increase, 6%, 7% increase right there.
Yeah.
And if you do these types of things repetitively, you're growing your capital, and you're not you're not doing stupid shit with it, right? Like you're like, I already have a system of rules. I already have my buys and sets ready to go if they, when they inevitably hit. Do you think ETH will go back to 1654 at some point in the future? Yes, within a couple months, most likely. So, we're loading at prices that are, statistically low chances of happening, but possibly, and you increase your risk. The more probability of these happening. Like if if it's out of here, I'm going to set a buy. On the daily, that's a 2 hour, so it's a little bit different. Let's see it on the daily, right? So that's all happening. If you didn't zoom out, this is all happening within a very small window. Like the first, your first things could be, that's for like day trading. If you're doing the small windows, the Keltner channels work on, the daily and the 4 hour too. So, I want to buy here. This is all through here. These are purchases. I'm selling here and up here on these ones. And you just kind of let them do their thing, and it's all spot purchases. It's not, leverage positions. Leverage positions you're constantly managing. It's fucking nightmare. I don't recommend it unless you have like nerves of steel. Maybe like 1% of people can actually handle it. I cannot. So I think there's finding which type of trader you are and stuff like that is also super important. But these are kind of like the tit point, and paper trading is massively beneficial. I cannot say it enough. Actually learning, again, like, do you ride a bike? Do you just jump on a fucking Harley and just roll? Or do you start as a kid and learn how to ride a bike, and then, take the training wheels off, and then you do something, then you get a different bike, then you get a 10 speed, then you work your way up into like a dirt bike or something like that. You don't fucking just throw a child on a motorcycle, right? So that's what leverage trading is throwing a child on a motorcycle. So any other
Going to the
questions?
casino with a credit card is what it is.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. Any other questions there, Truth? Or?
I think it was a good session. We finally touched up on the Kelters for
Nailed it.
everybody. But yeah, it was also good insight on like the Blur token and all these other, like token drops and the tokenomics of that kind of thing too. So
Yeah, like
very,
I said,
very
like
interesting things to look at.
watching it very carefully when it comes out.
Those first
Within a
couple hours.
couple hours, you'll probably see like a base forming of, yo, I'm selling for free money. Thank you. And then you start getting that little bit of loss in volume, and then it just kind of rips because it's all been sold to, giant whales who pretty much know that, anytime a token drops, you get that FOMO
Sell
or,
off.
yeah, the very first couple hours are people like, that's way too risky. That's usually the time to buy. That's what usually happens is people like, oh, it's too risky to buy here. Then they see the price go up and they're like, oh, well, it's not so risky anymore. But realistically, the risk is way higher as the price goes up, right? Like, you already see that happening with, look at checks, like, as a fucking huge example. People are, how many people were buying? No one wants to buy now at like 1, but everyone and their mom wanted to buy at 2 2.5 because it's just going to go up from here. Like it's, there was no retracement, no nothing. Now we're back down to the ones, and now no one wants to buy anymore because the FOMO is gone, right? So, we'll see like that accumulation of people wanting to get more checks and to burn them or whatever for the artwork or whatever. But the initial like FOMO, all the nonsense is gone, and now it's just like the people who actually want the art are here. If you look at the floor, it's just people. I bought this at 2.6. I'm selling for 0.7 now. I bought this for 5, or now I'm selling for 1. It's like a bunch of that going on right now. So, um, just make calculated plays, and you want to front load that risk. If you are making a risky move, if you're catching it early, generally it's going to be, front load the risk and then sell in increments, right? Like if say you loaded up checks at, 1 ETH, you bought 10 at 1 ETH, um, and then you had 48 hours to sell between, 2 and 2.5. And on the way up, like I had listed at 1.73, 1.83, 1.93, 2, you sell it on the way up in increments and not all at once ever, right? So I didn't buy 10, then sold 10 at 1.1 because I made a 1 ETH. I sold at 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Like you just want to make that pattern, um, you know, DC. It's like that dollar cost average entry and exit is always a better move. If I gave you $10,000 to buy ETH with, and you just dump it all right now to buy ETH at 1486, like probably not a great idea when you could probably buy at 1486 and 1450 and probably some at like 1390. You can get, and then yeah, it goes back up from there, but now you have a average price entry that's lower, um, when you're starting. And again, like splitting up into small purchases, huge benefit. Paper trading, huge benefit. Um, just making sure all of this is again, it's a zero sum game. If you're winning, someone is lost. So, um, making sure you have some sort of edge is always important. And that's pretty much my spiel.
All right, guys. Well, good session. We'll see you next week, right?
That's right.
All right. Good having everybody. Hopefully you got something out of it. I did out of the Keltner channels this week. Got to cover that. That's good. And then again, just touch up on the other like RSI caverns that we talked about in the previous
Yeah, for sure.
session there, and then went over the token airdrop mechanisms and kind of some other marketplaces to look at. You can see NFT charts and stuff. So we'll reconvene next week. Have a good week. Stay safe, stay happy, and keep yourself out of risk.